All right, folks, the Republican Party and their surrogates on the right are desperate, are frantic to do anything to justify an impeachment into President Biden, which, of course, unfortunately, leads us back to Hunter Biden, because that is the primary vector by which they hope to politically injure the president. I've got some craziness for you from Fox News in particular and Newsmax as well. But before we unpack all that, if you haven't yet, please hit that like, subscribe, and the alert bell. Maybe check out my Patreon. I'd appreciate the support. All right, folks, so as is often the case with anything that has to do with impeaching the president by way of the Hunter Biden probe, the fourth one in 5 or 6 years, it seems like, maybe 7, 2 executive branch probes into Hunter Biden, 2 congressional probes into Hunter Biden, a civilian son who's never held power. We must, of course, turn to James Comer, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, the grand inquisitor of the Biden family witch hunt. So let's hear what he has to say, because it's so bad that at this point he's being called out by other Fox hosts. This is nothing new. They're getting fed up with him and the constant edging and the constant false promises and the constant fake starts. So let's hear what he has to say.
Ended the China Initiative, which was an investigation at all our public universities of a very organized Chinese spy ring where China was sending students to universities to steal our research and development.
So you're saying because members of the Hunter Biden family and the extended Joe Biden family got money through various foreign entities, including things from China, that the president is compromised?
Absolutely.
So make it easy for us. What was the crime?
Well, the crime is trading policy for money.
Which policy?
Well, we're going to get into that.
That right there gives the game away. They've been doing this for months, and here's the thing. They have been intemperate with their claims. So rather than say we're looking into it, there might be something there might not be. Instead, they've been positioning themselves from the beginning, and really before they took power in this most recent election, because they've been casting aspersions about President Biden by way of Hunter Biden for years now. They've been, we have the proof, we have the proof, we have the proof. The proof is right here. Joe Biden is corrupt. He's compromised. He's under the influence of foreign powers to enrich himself. Do we have any evidence of it in terms of financial transactions, receipts, or anything like that? No, of course not. Can we name the policy that he's supposedly modified for the sake of these foreign payments? Well, we're going to get into it. Shouldn't have you been into it already? Shouldn't you have proof that that policy exists before you make the claims in the first place? They do this every single time. It is profoundly pathetic. But wait, there's more. Because, again, Comer makes the claim, listen, the crime is payment for changes to policy. Payment for changes to policy, a bribe. So now we have to turn to the Fox News intellectual, Jonathan Turley, who is allegedly a law professor at Georgetown University. He is the closest thing to a credible scholar that the Republican Party has on retainer. Watch him try to move the goalpost to subtly reinforce James Comer's moving of the goalpost. See if you can catch it.
All of these are highly corrupt figures that are giving millions of dollars that are going to the Biden children, even grandchildren. And the result has been overwhelming in the sense that President Biden's long denials have been demolished. It's not true that he had no knowledge of his son's business. It's not true, as he's claimed, that his son made no money in China. And so much of Washington's falling back now and saying, all right, maybe there was influence peddling, but it was an illusion. And you can't show corruption or a crime related to the president.
Which, by the way, was the predicate for this investigation. They made the claim, Republicans made the claim, that not only was President Biden exaggerating about whether or not Hunter Biden made any, finances or financially benefited from China, which, by the way, I hate to tell you this, is absolutely Hunter Biden's prerogative. As a private citizen, you can indeed make money, even if you're the son of a politician, Republican or Democrat, from foreign powers. Is it potentially corrupt? Absolutely. But that's also a Republican and Democratic thing, number one. We could get into the Trumps, as we've talked about before. But it's not a crime inherently. And by the way, even if it were inherently a crime, that's a crime against Hunter Biden, who, and this is very important, is not Joe Biden. Joe Biden and Hunter Biden are famously two separate people and have two separate legal requirements. Believe it or not, there is no law which says that if Hunter Biden does something illegal, Joe Biden is legally or even morally responsible for his son's crimes, if those crimes exist. So it's Republicans who made the claim. Joe Biden committed crimes. And now he keeps saying, well, Hunter Biden may have committed crimes. Well, nobody cares. I don't care. That wasn't the claim. And I would only care if Hunter Biden, A, were president, or B, if Hunter Biden's crimes were facilitated directly or encouraged by Joe Biden, if Joe Biden was a co-conspirator or a co-agent in those crimes for which you have zero evidence. But here's where Turley tries to move the goalpost.
Unless you can show a direct payment to his account, like someone would hand him an envelope full of money. Well, obviously that's nuts. The Bidens have been in the influence peddling business for decades. They're not going to do something as stupid as having a direct deposit into an account of Joe and Jill Biden.
So see what he does there. He's like saying, listen, I mean, yeah, okay, sure, we made direct claims about President Biden. And now the media is like, okay, we'll prove your claims. Show a financial transaction linking Joe Biden himself, not Hunter Biden, not the Biden family, Joe Biden, Joseph Robinette Biden, who is not Hunter Biden, linking him to a foreign power directly, and then show me the policy that benefited that foreign power and show me how Joe Biden changed it. So show me the proof of the financial relationship directly between the foreign power and Joe Biden. Name the policy, identify the policy or policies that benefited that particular foreign party, and then show me how Joe Biden changed it. 3 major pillars of burden of proof. And Jonathan Turley is trying to help James Comer shift the burden. Well, listen, I mean, it's crazy to expect the Republicans to be able to prove a direct financial link. They're moving the goalpost, and it's unacceptable. Nobody should accept it. They should be like, Professor, that's unacceptable. I reject the premise. You made a claim that there's a direct financial relationship here. You either prove the claim or you concede the claim and say, you know what, we overstated. My bad. We shouldn't have done that. And then modify your claim, make a more palatable claim, but they won't do it because in order to persuade the American people that there's something there, they actually have to have a smoking gun against the president. And Jonathan Turley's trying to get you to accept, well, just accept that there is no smoking gun, but hate him anyway. And then the last clip I want to show you is back to Comer here. So we have these Republicans trying to move the goalpost. Now look at what James Comer says. I can't name you the policy. The crime is taking money in exchange for changing policy. That's the crime. Turley says, well, listen, there doesn't even have to be proof of the money changing hands to Joe Biden. And no, I can't name the policy, says Comer. But look when the topic comes to impeaching Joe Biden based on what they know already. No financial transaction, no name policy. This is what Comer has to say.
15 seconds left. Mitch McConnell is from your same state. I'm sure you know him quite well. He says we should not be looking to impeach Joe Biden. After seeing all of this, this is not impeachable. What planet is Mitch McConnell on right now?
Well, I would certainly vote to impeach, and I think we've seen that there's already been a whole lot more wrongdoing proven on Joe Biden than ever was with Donald Trump with that first impeachment with respect to him just asking about corruption in Ukraine.
There you go, folks. That right there. So again, as a recap, James Comer says, listen, what Joe Biden did was he took money to change U.S. policy. What policy? Well, I don't know. We can't name it yet, but we're looking into it. Then his surrogate, Jonathan Turley, says, and by the way, the proof of Joe Biden taking money, you shouldn't expect actual direct evidence like a record or receipt or transaction. That's unacceptable. That's too high of a burden. Moving the goalposts in 2 very key ways. And then Comer concludes by saying, yet despite all of that, I would vote to impeach based on what we've seen. And then he goes on to compare it to Trump's impeachment, his first impeachment regarding Ukraine, in which President Trump, at the time the sitting president, tried to withhold congressionally approved and mandated foreign aid to Ukraine in order to pressure Ukraine, a separate foreign country, into investigating a U.S. political rival to the sitting president. Folks, they're incomparable. It would have been one thing if Donald Trump had withheld state funds or tried to pressure a foreign ally into doing something that is commensurate with U.S. and state and global policy, official policy, was commensurate with what Congress had already agreed to do, and wasn't a direct material benefit for himself. Donald Trump had no regard, no interest in whatever sordid Ukraine story was going on for the first 2.5 years of his presidency, but when it became increasingly likely, after Joe Biden announced he was running for president, I might add, then Donald Trump was like, okay, well, maybe I can get Ukraine to do me a favor. These are apples and oranges. What Donald Trump did was infinitely more corrupt than anything we know about Joe and Hunter Biden. And if the Republicans want to pretend that there's some parity there, they better bring the receipts. But also, according to Republicans, you shouldn't expect receipts. It's ridiculous. It's nuts, say the Republicans, to expect receipts. These people are pathetic.